All right, welcome to Real Talk Football TV Premier League debate show. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Usual suspects, myself, Shat with Tobias. All right, your favorite subject, Tobias, Liverpool. The Premier League over, 11 points clear. Liverpool play the game more, giving Man City that work, just toying with them. Arsenal losing to West Ham. Is it done?
It's been done. I was never convinced anyway. I convinced
You never
myself
convinced an Arsenal.
from like November, December that this was yours wrapped up. Makes it easy for me to sort of get over it when it actually happens. But we all knew that with the fall off of City, I think everyone knew. I think Arsenal deep down, their fans knew. You can't count on Arsenal. We said it. How many times do you like have to trip up for them not to even capitalize on one of your slip ups? That's ridiculous.
But our slip ups has been draws. It's not like we've lost.
Bro, draws is effectively losing in a minute. Like at one point compared to three, like there's still slip ups. You've dropped points. You've allowed it to be the door to be cracked open just that little bit, giving everyone hope in terms of to make it at least half a decent Premier League title race. But now, 3 months before the end of the season, you've taken that away, and a loss at home to West Ham. Like, I'm not surprised.
I understand. I understand what you're saying. I understand with Arsenal, people say they bottled it. Maybe they have. They've had all the money they've spent. Arteta.
I wouldn't even say they haven't even put up a fight this time around. They've not even put up a fight. When have they ever looked in danger? Like Chelsea has been the closest to you guys.
And but you say Chelsea in that, but I think it's not just Arsenal need to come to the play. I think Man United need to come to the play. Chelsea need to come to the play. Come on, bro. Come on. You man have been in the wilderness with all the money you lot have spent for nearly over 10 years and done F4. Chelsea all the money they've spent, they need to come to the forefront.
I'm not gonna focus.
Other teams need to come to the forefront. I know I'm not like having like putting my alliances just with Liverpool and saying it's Liverpool kind of doing their thing. But with Arsenal need to Arsenal are doing what they're doing. We know they always bottle, but I think Chelsea, I think Man United, all these clubs, they need to come to the forefront as well. They can't just rely on Arsenal to be challenging.
No one's relying on Arsenal to be challenging. Let's not go on as if Arsenal have been holding up the league for the last 10 years. Like, behave yourself. What are you talking about? Where are you even going? I don't understand. Why are you even bringing? Don't even bring our name up for it. I don't know what you're talking about.
You spend so much money. You should be there to. You should be fighting for the title as well.
Forget the money. Like we can focus all you want on the money, but that doesn't mean anything. Just because you spend money doesn't mean that you got a right to be anywhere. So it's all about the right money spent. So let's forget about that. We've never been in a situation for the longest time where we've even looked a threat. So how you're bringing? Yes, we should be at the forefront just through the size of the club. But other than that, it's been a shambles. At the end of the day, like, we've been convinced that Arteta. You've been convincing everyone that Arteta's the truth.
So, listen, this is what you do so much. Don't go like I said he's the truth. That's why you have to smirk. Bro, I said Arteta. Listen. I saw what he was doing, and tell you the truth, not this season, but the season before and the season before that, I thought Arteta were the best team out of possession. Yeah. They're the best organized team I've seen for the last 2 years. And yes, they blew it. But this year,
who did you go for the league this year?
I went for Arsenal. Yeah, I thought Arsenal would win it. I don't think Man City will win it because Man City have won it 4 times in a row. I just don't see no one winning 5 times in a row. And really, it should have been 3 times in a row because Arsenal should have won it last year, but they bottled it.
Didn't I tell you that you've got more of a chance than Arsenal?
No, you said we'll be up there. You didn't say we'll win it. You said
I said you've got more of a chance than Arsenal. You was convinced that no. I was telling you, like, it's the way it is, isn't it? Like, you can't be like, everyone's been convincing us that Arteta's the truth, even though I was been telling everyone for ages that I don't believe Arteta's that guy. But actually, I still believe that Ten Hag still ends up more successful than Arteta. But that's an old conversation. But that's factual, and it's still factual to this day. That in 2.5 years, Ten Hag exceeded anything that Arteta's done. Expectation being that with them being title challengers for last 2 years, last 2 seasons,
money spent. The money is spent.
I don't want to focus slowly on the money spent, but
but Tobias, you have. I think that has to come into play. You can't just say we can't focus. That he's spent some serious money. He spent like I said, I'm not going to Declan Rice, but I always go to it. When you spend £105 million on a player, single player, some people don't get that for their budget. That's the player for me who's supposed to take you over the line. And if he doesn't take you over the line, there are serious questions need to be asked about the manager. When you spend money on that, Tobias, if someone spent £100 million, you expect him to go over the line. It's like when you sign Pogba. I know he didn't do what he's supposed to do, but he was the guy that to tip you into a title challenge with all the money. At the time, he came off the season he came off with Juventus and Rete. When you spend £105 million on a footballer, sorry, that's the game changer. When you spend three triple digits on a player, they're game changers. They're the ones who are supposed to be from second to first. Van Dijk done the same, 75 mil, second to first. They're the players.
Arsenal, but we never. Chelsea always slip under the radar when it comes to this. Look at the money they spent on Caicedo alone. So if you're saying that about Rice, then you got to say the same about Caicedo.
No, you're right, and 100% correct. But the difference is Chelsea have got trophies in the bank for them to do what they're doing. They have won. The most successful club in the last 25 years is Chelsea. So Arsenal have not been successful with the money they've spent. They've bought one FA Cup for 20 years. Really, they've never really looked like they're going to win a title since
with an Emery team. But people forget that because he got them to the semi-final, wasn't it? Emery got them to the semi-final before.
And the FA Cup, he got to semi-finals and basically Arteta took that team over and won the league, won the FA Cup. Sorry.
What the problem is that I believe that Arteta will be a better manager than what he is now 5 years down the line? Yes. Do I feel like this being his first job, he's still learning? Like it's crazy to think that it's crazy to expect him to come in and to be pulling up trees because before he took the Arsenal job, he was Pep's cone man. So it's only just.
But he's learning off the arguably the greatest manager of a generation. So and you've seen him build. You've seen him build with Arsenal.
Yeah.
You see the progression, but this year it's stalled. Arsenal fans are complaining about injuries. I don't want to hear it. For the last 2 years before this season, they've had hardly no injuries. No injuries. So there's no excuse. So why didn't you win the league the year before or the year after? Hardly had no injuries. This is the first time you guys have had an injury list. And you couldn't cope. You couldn't cope with it.
But as much as I wanted it to be different in terms of at least giving us something interesting to watch. Like just watching you run away with the league now is just going to be, and it could be by a crazy points difference now because their confidence is going to be shot to bits. Mm-hmm. All they had to do was put a bit of pressure on them. You know what I mean? But they wasn't able to do it. The Man City fall off. That's just what it is, isn't it? Like they've been getting some serious beatings, some serious ones. So. It's not looking all rosy. I don't even believe that next season is going to be as good as what everyone believes it to be. So there's an opening for both yourselves and Arsenal for the next couple of seasons. But there is that always next year. They seem to be taking over your mantle in that regard. Like we'll win it next year. You know that's how we're going.
Yeah. You keep talking like that, man. That's more like you, man. Soon, anyway. 11 years and counting. I remember I told you.
You know how bad it is. It's not even next year, bro. We can't even be thinking about next year now. We're talking like five years. Not even. I'm not even. Forget us. Like we're just forget us as being even a conversation right now. That's sort of irrelevant. But yeah. The only solace I can take in this whole thing is that it's not Klopp winning it. You know, because if Klopp was winning it, you lot would just be even worse, I believe. Like for some reason, Slot ain't getting the credit he deserves.
No, he is.
I don't think he'll get it.
Yes,
maybe until he wins it. I haven't heard it because you like if this was Klopp right now, oh my god, it would be
nope.
You might even make
chatting rubbish. Chatting rubbish
right now.
We've gave Slot the flowers. Like the media, no, the media might have not, because he's a very different to Klopp. Klopp's very eccentric and very loud and bubbly, where Arne Slot is completely different. What Arne Slot has done is he's been very clever. What I like about him, what I was going to come on to, we're going to come on to this as well. What I like, he has brought back football how it was 20 years ago, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, in a sense of we play different ways for different teams. Where I've seen now, everybody plays the same way. Everyone's a possession, keep 70% of the ball, pop, 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 pop. No matter what, like Amorim, no matter what, we play our way. We could play Real Madrid or we're playing Dulwich Hamlet. We will play our way. With Arne Slot, it feels like every team we play, we might play a different system. We might play a 4-2-3-1. It might be a 4-3-3. It might be Trent coming inverted. It might be Trent just being out wide. It might be just Robbo just bobbing on. It might be Szoboszlai just making third-man runs all the time. And I believe that will be the football. I think it's doing another 360. I think teams now, if Liverpool win it, I think you're going to see teams tinkering their formation and tinkering their style of football for the actual team they play, not just playing one style. And that's the difference in the sense of the biggest difference for me between him and Klopp. Klopp played one way. Arne Slot will play 4 or 5 ways, and he'll play 3 or 4 ways in the game. We might be just pressing the team for ages, and then you see us in a low block playing counter-attack. And that's what I used to see when I used to watch the Man United sides. They weren't just 4-3-3 destroying teams. I've seen them go Real Madrid or Barcelona, put everyone behind the ball. Put Park and Fletcher in the field.
We had job players that could specifically do
that system, yeah. And I think that's what's gone.
Job players. We had a squad that was able to play multiple different ways for the fact that you just spoke about. And with the hipster managers you got nowadays, like the Amorims, like the Artetas, you could go on really. The Ange Postecoglou's, it's one way or the highway, and like you say, I don't believe that's not management to me. Like no. I said before Amorim come in, do not come into this squad believing that you can play your system straight away. It's crazy. Like, and for you to do that, you've set a precedent. But basically, a manager like you say with Slot come in, said, what can I do? What's the best I can do with the squad I have? And he's worked with the squad he's got. He didn't go crazy in the transfer market. I believe he would have had transfer funds. So you can't tell me that Liverpool ain't giving him no money, a new manager no money to do anything. So you must have made a decision that, even though it doesn't seem like Chiesa was his man, you don't tell me it was just Chiesa or nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I believe he would have had some sort of funds, because there's no way you're going to take over a new job and tell a man he's got no funds. That makes no sense. Only we would do a thing like that. But that's in January. But yeah, so he's done exactly what a manager's meant to do. Come in and work with the team you've got, because no one walks into a team that's their team. You build that over years.
And the thing is as well, Tobias, it feels like these new generation of managers, bar Slot in this league, feels like they will buy, say for example, they buy you and you're a number 8. It feels like they'll just change you into a 10 or into a 6, where it feels like, apart from Gravenberch, he just played everybody in his position. Like Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai was a 10 for Red Bull Leipzig. That's where he scored all these goals. Klopp brings him. He's played like Henderson. He's playing like an 8, bombing up and down, just covering everybody. Where Slot goes, okay, well, you played a number 10 for Red Bull Leipzig. We're just going to put you in your position and put you up there. And it is sense of, in certain games, Trent, he said, I don't want you inverted. How did you used to get all your assists? Just playing out wide. So just play out wide and put balls in the box. Robbo, what are you good at? Just bombing on. Well, bomb on. just do the basics. And it feels like he's just actually just done the basics for each player. And it's just worked. Where I think football, to me, I've always said, in my opinion, football is like checkers, not chess. It's quite simple. The basics of football. And I think the new generation of coaches and managers, they're just overcomplicating certain things, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, mate, you see it on a weekly, really. But yeah, I can't deny anything that you've said. Like we're in that age now, you know. What I will add is that Slots also helped where he was lacking it last year. It's like having McAllister as that lone six wasn't working. It wasn't working. You put someone next to him, it works. You don't complain about that because he's got that protection.
He's got legs around him. He can dictate the tempo now. So he's got someone like Gravenberch who's got legs who can get around the pitch.
Yeah, and it's not. I don't know. It's a funny one either way. To be honest, I don't think anyone's got the solution right now, apart from Slot.
All right, Tobias, two more things. Yeah, is the Premier League as weak as it's been for a while? That's
I don't think
the first question. Okay, and that's what I'm saying. Okay, that's the first question, and then I'm gonna go to the second one. Do you think it's at its weakest?
I don't. You know overall. I don't think so. I think overall it's probably at its more competitive.
Yeah,
because you got you with Newcastle, the Villas, the Brightons will turn up on any given day. Like every team, you can go through the league. Like the Foresters, you don't know what's going to happen with them or how they're going to turn up. So I don't believe so. I just think it's we've spoken about this before. Is that players are not. There's not that much difference in the caliber of players now. There's not many elites like you're looking at that Pagan you got behind you.
As PSR. As PSR.
Ahead. No, I don't think so. Well, PSR hasn't nullified anyone because we've spent bundles of money. Have we spent money in the right way? It doesn't matter. Brighton haven't spent hardly a fraction of the money, but they're getting all the money from the other players because
their recruitment 200 million this year.
But their recruitment is better. You know, it's not. It's not a flash in the pan. It's not like watch a man for 6 months. He's having a good 6 months. Pick him up for big money. Yeah, there is a difference in going to a club like Liverpool, United, Chelsea, even in terms of the club can end up swallowing you up if you don't perform from the get go. So there is a sort of pattern there, and I've seen that more so at our club than anything. We buy players that seem to just get swallowed up by the club in itself. Hence the reason they can go elsewhere and perform.
Anthony,
you can say Anthony. You can say Wan-Bissaka to a degree.
Yeah.
Everyone. It seems like everyone that leaves, it just seems to be pulling up trees. Do you know what I mean? And so there is a case that once you can go Elanga, you can go through plenty of players that leave us and they end up look at like. Don't get me wrong, Rashford is still Rashford because I watched him the other day, not the Chelsea game, the game before, and he was still doing the Rashford stuff where it doesn't seem like he has to run. You feel like he plays, he seems to have that Mbappe attitude where Mbappe's gone the other way now. He's realised now what he has to do to make it at Real Madrid. The penny has finally dropped, you know what I mean? And Real Madrid have realised that raw because if you see players like Rodrigo and Vinny Jr., the way they track back, and it's the balance of the whole squad, isn't it? That you can't have people now in positions on the wing, especially not doing it, not tracking back. It's impossible. So it doesn't work like that. But I don't believe it's at its weakest. I think it's probably at its most competitive. That's why everyone's taking points of everyone. The only ones that have gone past that is yourselves. And there has been games where it could have gone either way and quality has just shone or Mo Salah's just popped up for that last 5 minutes that he seems to be playing at the minute.
That's why I wanted to come for this guy up here. Yeah. Coming on to this is the last bit. This guy up here.
You know what, yeah.
The king. Wait. Let's finish the king. Let's give this flowers to the king right now. If he wins the league, so we're looking at, I think with Salah now, I think he's breaking every record going at the moment, Premier League era. He's breaking your favorite players' records right now. I'm not saying your player, but regardless, if you don't like him or not, he's breaking your favorite players' records. He's doing a madness. At 32 going on 33, he's mostly having a record-breaking season. 25 goals at the moment. There's 11 games to go, 16 assists. So more than likely, he's going to get 20 and he's going to get 20 assists minimum. So he's got 25 goals. You look at the numbers he's done over 7 years, which I've been saying. People love to talk about De Bruyne all this time, and he's the GOAT of the last. This guy arguably has been the best player the second he stepped foot in the Premier League for the last 7-8 years. The second he stepped foot from the first game until now, he's arguably been the best player, and it's not even a debate. The numbers say it, the eye test say it, the numbers who he scores against says it. To me, it goes about preference and legacy now. If he wins another title and he stays a couple of more years, Tobias, and wins maybe another one, and maybe comes over for Champions League. And say if he does that, say if he wins 3 Premier Leagues, 2 Champions Leagues, and all the other cups he's got.
Not all the others, the one of each.
No, he said the others. He's won multiple. He's won multiple Carabao Cups. Don't try it. Don't try it. Stop being a hater. This guy. One of each. This guy. This guy.
2 Carabaos. All right, so you got 2 Carabaos. Apologies.
Listen. You can say what you want. You can hate as much as you want.
I'm not hating.
If he wins 3, he's going to looks like he's going to win another league title. That's 2 league titles. If he can pick up a third, so if he picks up 3 league titles, and say even 4, but he still has 1 Champions League. But if he picks up 3 league titles, 2 Champions Leagues with all the other cups he has won. If you're a big Mo Salah fan, yeah, do you have a case for him to be the greatest Premier League player of all time?
No, the all-time conversation I don't like. Forget it. Like the all-time of his generation, yes.
But you have to say that, because you'd be saying, well, we know no one's going to be the best player ever then, because we can't say Messi.
You can't. How can you judge anyone forever? You can't judge players that you haven't watched.
I'm talking about Premier League. I've seen everybody in the Premier League. I'm talking from 1992 to 2025 plus. I've seen them all. From 1992 upwards. I'm not talking about 91, 90. I saw the tail end of John Barnes and all them players there. I saw them more on tapes. But I'm talking about from 1992 to 2025 plus. It's all about legacy now. Numbers, he's going to break them all. It feels like he's going to break most of them anyway. It feels like he's breaking a record every week. If he does that, if he wins, say, another 3 league titles and 2 Champions Leagues, or 4 league titles and a Champions League, does he have if you're the biggest Mo Salah fan, do you have a case for him being the best Premier League player of all time?
Well, he can have a case regardless without that, just through the numbers, isn't he?
But I think it's more. I think with numbers, I think you have to have legacy. I think you could be a numbers guy, and if you ain't got trophies to show,
but you still have
you can't. I think you've got to have everything. I think you've got to have the numbers, the legacy of the trophies, the eye test, who you've scored against, rare tear. I think you've got to have all that categories. I think that's what Messi makes Messi. What if people think he's the GOAT? That's what he has got. He's got legacy. Copa America, World Cup, Champions Leagues, La Ligas, goals, the eye test, the catching goals. He's got all of that. If you're the Messi fan who thinks Messi's the greatest, say the same thing with Ronaldo, whoever. Zidane, Ronaldinho, R9, you could say all of that. They have legacy. But if he can do that, does he have a strong case of being the greatest?
Of course. Of course, because who's held up as the greatest now? People look at Henry, isn't it? Yeah, and Henry didn't win the Champions League. So it can be broken down that simple. So if you can argue with anyone about anything like that, but then you can go to the other end and say, oh, well, that means Giggs is the greatest player of all time in the Premier League because of number of his trophies, isn't it?
Yeah.
But as you say, everything accumulates into one package, but you can't deny it. And I'm not Mo Salah's biggest fan in terms of that. I appreciate Mo Salah as a player, but I've said it before. He wouldn't go down for my preference as the all-time great, but it's definitely a conversation. I wouldn't be back in the conversation, but you couldn't argue against it. So I appreciate whether or not he's my type of. Not my type of player, but in terms of someone that I would want to watch back, that's sort of irrelevant because.
But Tobias, is he a player a bit like Frank Lampard? When he retires, we will appreciate him a lot more. Is he just that type of? Certain players are just like that, and I think he could be one of them. I think people rate him. I don't think there's a section of people that think he's not good. I think most 90% of most people rate him. But I think he's going to be a player that when he retires, I think in the next 5-10 years, we go, no, Salah was different. He was different.
I'll tell you why, because their numbers, all that you'll be able to see from then on is the numbers. So then if you go from a comparison of other players and you just go, well, from a numbers point of view, then that's where Frank Lampard hits it, everyone, isn't it? That's how he gets it.
Yeah, but it's just a bit weird because people
might say you used to love watching Frank Lampard because you'd be lying.
I hear you.
I'm not using that as a comparison against Salah because I feel obviously Salah's got a lot more attributes and he's a lot more exciting to watch than Lampard.
Yeah, I agree what you're saying. I do. I think he's a guy that you respected him, but you didn't really like, okay, Lampard's on the TV, I'm going to watch Frank Lampard. Yeah, I'd rather watch Scholes or Gerrard.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And that's no disrespect to Lampard. Lampard worked on what he had and he done what he needed to do. So all hail to him. You know what I mean? He had great attributes. He worked him to his strength. But efficiency is the name of the game now.
Yeah. I've been saying the same thing to my daughter, which plays. I said, football is about numbers now. I think it's a bad thing because the eye test is irrelevant now. It's about, if you're playing in the attacking areas, it's about goals and assists. That is it. No one cares about how many people you go past. And I think it's wrong because I think it's a team game. Because I think I was watching a Liverpool fan channel, and one of the guys was killing Doku. He's shit. He's a one-trick pony. I'm like, are you having a laugh? I said, he absolutely ruined Trent.
Yeah,
he gave Trent. He cooked Trent so bad. It got to a point where this is getting stupid. I'm thinking, you're telling me if he'd done all of that and he had someone like Haaland playing, Haaland doesn't get at least a goal because he put in some good balls, but he's got a false nine. He's got a false nine playing up front. So when I heard that, I was like, you know, when guys who've never played football at any sort of level, I was thinking, this guy's a donor. I had to turn it off. I'm not even a Man United fan, but listen, I like guys like Doku in the sense of at least they're exciting.
Listen,
at least he's going to take the player on.
If you put Doku in your system, Doku's on a madness, in my opinion. It just doesn't suit. Pep doesn't allow players to express themselves like that. So he's only limited to what he can do. But that's what I believe. I believe if Doku's in any other team, but where he can express himself a lot more, then you're seeing a lot better Doku. I don't think, because I've seen a lot of people criticize Doku. I don't get the criticism. I think the criticism always comes down to lack of efficiency, which is always lack of numbers.
Yes, and that's what it always comes down to. And the thing is, I think his lack of numbers do need to be better. But if you've got a striker that the only thing he does is score, he's not going to create anything for you. You have to create everything for him. How's your numbers going to be going up? Because everything is to cater for Haaland to score a goal. And people might say, well, if you look at his numbers, he's not even creating either. But I'm saying he puts a lot of balls in the box. I think his numbers should be a lot higher. But I do think his input needs to be better. But don't tell me he's a shit player. He's not a shit player. I'm not having that.
He's not. But if you allowed him to make the runs, even though I've seen Mamouche making them from out to in runs, but Doku doesn't seem to make them. So I'm not sure whether that's a player profile thing or what. Because I used to think it was a Pep thing until Mamouche come in and done that instantly. I'm not sure whether that just allows him that freedom. Pep allows him that freedom to go into the 10 or what. But Doku, that's what he doesn't seem to have the runs that the Diaz makes. Salah makes them out to in runs. And but then I don't think City play that way to allow that to happen.
Straight.
So his numbers are never going to. So I've always said it, man. At you under Klopp especially, if you had a Doku with Trent spamming that ball, it's crazy for him. Do you know what I mean? It'd be a lot more effective. But it is what it is, in it. Like you've got system-based managers now that only allow. They don't really. Players are not allowed to express themselves anymore. Like the enjoyment in football anymore is gone. The street football is now gone. You're not getting the Ozils. The Ozils ain't getting in on these teams now.
No. It's more about pressing. That's why so many injuries. But that's for another day. All right, guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to Bice. Last word.
I need therapy, man. You know what? I can't remember. I think since this shit podcast has started, I don't think I've had a good week. I was telling you, this is just consistent. I've got to be praising other teams, and it's just dead. This is killing my life.
Love it.
Mental health is real, people, man.
We are out, man.